So today is leg day, and it's not just any leg day. It's well, couldn't really call it a leg day. It's quads and abs. So obviously abs isn't really legs, but just going to quickly spend a bit of time explaining the muscles that we're going to be working out on the quads today, because the quads is a little bit more complicated than it might initially come across. So in the medial compartment of the thigh, you've got muscles up near the top that control external rotation, abduction and flexion of the hip. But we're interested in the quadriceps, which is made up of 4 muscles, that being the rectus femoris, which kind of lies in the middle, the vastus medialis, which comes down here, the vastus lateralis, and the vastus intermedialis, which is just below the rectus femoris. And the way that the action that controls is extension of the knee joint. So if you're like me and you absolutely hate squatting, it's still important to do a little bit of a compound movement on the legs. So I'm just going to start it off by doing some, well, I guess you could do this on a Smith machine, but I'm just doing it on this nice little squat machine here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start off by, rather than doing like a normal squat where you have your legs kind of far apart and wide, we're going to bring them somewhat close together, and that's going to focus it way more on the quads. I'm just doing a little warm up here, but you don't want to lock your knees out, because if you lock your knees out like this, then it can result in a hyperextension of your knee, which is where your knee goes in the wrong direction, and that wouldn't tickle, and it would result in quite a long time out of the gym, and so it's just not worth it. But yeah, I went for a run before I came today, so I'm already feeling a bit sweaty and a bit warm, so that should be enough of a warm up. Let's start loading up a little bit. There we go. So gonna try 120 here. Now obviously with things like squats you can go super heavy, but it's not all about going really heavy all the time. Yes, it is a compound movement, but sorry, that was really loud. It's also a little bit about control and trying not to let your back or your bum leave the back of that seat. If we're doing this on a Smith machine, put your feet sort of slightly in front of you, and just don't let that back bend, because that's putting you in a whole lot of danger, and it's not worth it for the extra 5 kilograms or whatever that you're lifting. So I like to keep my feet also pointed up rather than out. I think that focuses it nicely on the quads. Nice and controlled. Yeah, that's feeling pretty good. Definitely could go heavier, but I'm liking the control that I'm getting on this weight. So I think I'm going to do 2 more sets of that. So we're doing 3 sets in total, not including warm up. I won't film the other to save you a bit of boredom. Now, I know I said it was a quad focus day, but even on the quad focus days, we do a little bit of hamstrings just to make sure that if we didn't smoke them enough at the beginning of the week, we're smoking them now. And with these, I love the eccentric. I think it's just pure pain, and that's kind of what you want. Just really controlling it, squeezing it at the top. I mean, again, with these, it's not one of those things that you think you can be deceptively strong on, but actually you might be recruiting your glute muscles or your lower back muscles, and a telltale sign of that is if you're lifting your butt, or I guess your crotch, off the seat. If you're doing that, you're not lifting it properly and not using those hamstrings. You need to be more humble with the weight. Sometimes it's all about humility. Okay, so this fancy piece of gear is a plate-loaded leg extension, and just really focusing on those quads there. That's basically the aim of this. I do one at a time. If you find one of the muscles of your quads is hurting more than the other, just play around with rotating your leg like that, one way or the other. See if that fixes the problem. Because it might be that you're accidentally loading one of the muscles more than the other. Well, it could be that one of the muscles genuinely is bigger, or conversely weaker than the other. In which case, don't overwork it and don't ignore it. Meet somewhere in the middle. And try and work that one up. And that's about all that you can do. Try to keep it controlled. Good stuff. Now, the calf muscle isn't actually just one muscle. It's the posterior crural chain. It's the proper name of it. And there's a whole host of numbers in there, muscles in there. But the main two that we're interested in is the gastrocnemius, which is the most superficial one, and the soleus, which is behind that. Now, you can't really only work out one or the other, but you can sort of target them a little bit more by doing certain exercises. So for example, right now, the one that I'm doing with straight leg is more targeting the gastrocnemius. And you really want to hold this and do quite a lot of reps and quite a lot of weight with these calves, because you are walking around on them all day, and so they can take quite a lot of beating. Now, this isn't going to look a whole lot different to the thing I was just doing, but basically to put a little, I wouldn't say target, but to put a little bit more emphasis on the soleus, you're going to bend your knees in like this, and then you're going to start raising. Now I'm shaking all over the gap. Hold it at the top there. But that is putting a little bit more emphasis on the soleus rather than the gastrocnemius. You should feel the pain distributed a little bit differently. And if you do, then you've been doing them the right way. Oh, that's actually just pure pain already, I can't lie. I'll do 2 to 3 sets of this, depending how much you knacker them in the last exercise. Now, when it comes to abs, a lot of people train them the same kind of way that they train like cardio, but abs is just a muscle like any other muscle, and so I think personally a good way of training them is just like you would with anything else, sort of 15 reps, 3 sets, that works. It's worked for people online that I've seen, and I don't see why it shouldn't work for me, but if you have any knowledge that I don't, please let me know. And my favourite machines to do abs on is this one and one other, which I'll show in a minute. And I think it's because it targets the lower abs a lot more than some others do, and I think a lot of the exercises I've done for abs don't really exercise those bottom abs. And seeing as that's where the most stubborn fat is in most people, that's the bit that you kind of want to build the abs in most. So we'll have a crack at this, and you can have a watch. And I think whilst I have machines to do this, there's no reason why you couldn't just do this sort of lying down and raising your legs up, and maybe putting the weight on the bottom of your feet. I don't see why that wouldn't work. Alrighty, I'm going to buckle myself in here. No escaping the abs today. Make sure that's nice and tight. And when it comes to this one, I find that it works best when I have a little bit of tension in my arms. And then when I have a bit of tension in my arms, for some reason I don't recruit my hip muscles so much, but also it keeps you locked in place so you don't slide down, and you get a really nice stretch at the bottom of the movement there. That stretch is crazy. Might have to put the weight up a little bit, but then
I also do want to keep it somewhat humble because I've got 2 more sets of this and then 2 more ab workouts, 2 more, sorry, 1 more exercise after that. So yeah, maybe it's not a good idea putting the weight up. Change my mind. Oh, yeah, I'm really controlling that last bit because that's where you're going to grow those bits of your abs. Oh, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh. Oh. For this, it's pretty simple. You just hold a heavy weight, let yourself fall, hook your legs in something, and yeah, that's about it. It's easier when you have someone else to offload the weight to. Oh, struggling to speak there. But, the further you hold the weight away from your chest, the harder it's going to be. Remember, aim for 3 sets with every exercise. If you can't do it, just try and beat it next time. Oh, that's crazy. That wasn't too bad at all for a cheeky little section. You can probably tell that I neglected my legs for quite a long time, but I'm trying to get back into them. And yeah, I mean, if you have any tips that you want to share, please do comment them below, because I'm not the only person who benefits from people sharing stuff. But I definitely do appreciate it when I can't pretend to know everything. That would be a lie. But I'll tell you what, I might still look not lean, but even though I've started carting a few days ago, I'm feeling a bit leaner. I don't know. Compare it to the last few days. I might weigh myself tomorrow morning, see how the cut's going. But yeah, that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, if you have anything that you want to add, we're all learning together, so whack it below. I kind of have a bit of a dream to sort of make a community of people who just share their ideas and thoughts of the gym, not comparing to one another, but comparing to who you were yesterday. And I think that's a good motto in life anyways, so yeah, cheers for that, and good luck with all your sessions.